And hello, everyone. I'm your host, Daren Jaime, and today is Wednesday, September 13th, and of course, you're watching Open, a live program bringing the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. Now, we want to encourage you to stay connected to us, and you can find out more about us at Twitter at BronxNet TV, and then Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. Well, a lot has definitely been going on over the past week, but we'll catch you up now with some Bronx updates. Well, it's the morning after, and the results of primary day are now in, and we have the recap of the results all across New York City. In the race for mayor, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio won handily, receiving more than 326,000 votes in his re-election bid. Here in our borough, Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. defeated former staff member Carmilla Price with 86% of the vote. In the race for the City Council in District 12, incumbent Andy King was the winner. Over in District 13, Mark Jonai had a hotly contested race, edging out Marjorie Velasquez. Over in District 14, Fernando Cabrera was the winner over Randy Abreu. District 17, Rafael Salamanca won in grand fashion. And in District 18, a race where there is no incumbent, Ruben Diaz Sr. was the winner, beating out 4 other candidates. Also of note, in the race for public advocate, Letitia James won in the Democratic primary, and former BronxNet political contributor J.C. Polanco won the Republican and Reform Party line. The two will square off in November. Well, in other Bronx news, Democratic elected officials gathered in attendance to celebrate New York City's primary day results. Our reporter, Alexandria Garcia, has the story.
I need everybody who's a proud Bronx Democrat to make some noise.
Elected Bronx officials were in attendance at Maestro's on primary day in New York City. New York State Assemblyman and Bronx Democratic Party Chair Marcos Crespo addressed the importance of local elections and why every vote counts.
Our community needs to know that we have to increase voter turnouts, that if a community comes out on election time, political leaders notice that, and that's how we get resources in our neighborhoods.
Rafael Salamanca, council member of the 17th District, was welcomed by cheerful supporters as he was one of the first winners of the Democratic Party that evening.
Well, first of all, I want to thank my constituents for actually voting for me again for the 4th time. You know, I'm excited. I have a great team behind me. We did a lot of work in the 18 months that we've been in office.
Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. addresses the crowd as well as thanking them for supporting him for another 4 years.
First, let me just thank all of you here tonight, all of you who have not only volunteered today, but for the entire summer and for so many months. You've been out there, you've been campaigning, and it feels good that tonight we won big.
And in a packed race, Senator Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr. came out ahead and shares his vision for New York City moving forward.
We always have an agenda, you know, the Bronx. We have a lot of projects. Now we have the project, the renovation of the Sheridan Expressway. We're gonna do that one. We have a big project, Hollywood. Hollywood is coming to Colgate and Broadway Boulevard in the Bronx. A big studio from Hollywood. That's gonna be a lot of jobs, plenty jobs. There will be 4 North Central train stations that's coming to the Bronx. So there's a lot of projects that we have.
Incumbent Fernando Cabrera joined the rest of the Democratic winners that evening by promising supporters that these next 4 years will be the best the Bronx sees.
Well, actually, I want to expand on what we already have. We brought unemployment down from 23.5 all the way to 6.2. We were able to bring murders down to 66%, and we were able to get a high school graduation rate up from 65 to 72%. Now we need to augment that. I'm excited about that because that's what people are asking for, and that's what we're going to get. We're going to make sure the administration give us exactly what we deserve.
Andy King joined the crowd of supporters and spoke to us about his method and plans for taking on important issues.
Same approach that I've taken for the last 5 years, to be visible, be vocal, and to be accessible. And if you can master those 3 things, the people appreciate the work that you're going to do, whether it's fighting for seniors, advocating for youth jobs, promoting education, and making sure you secure safety and secure housing in your neighborhoods.
The last winner of the evening was Mark Jonai, winning 39% of the votes, as it was a close race alongside Democrat Marjorie Velasquez, who won 34% of the votes.
This is democracy at its best. The people decided that I was the best choice for the Democratic candidate. I'm just so excited for what tomorrow brings. We're looking for great changes and making a difference in the lives of so many people that called the 13th Council District their home.
After a long campaign season, the Bronx Democratic Party celebrate in full force.
Located at Maestros, I'm Alexandria Garcia reporting for BronxNet Television.
And thank you. In other news, New York City Board of Regents passed a new plan under the Every Student Succeed Act, which was created under former President Obama's administration. The Regents' approval means that the state can now submit its plan to the Federal Department of Education for review and approval. Under the plan, elementary and middle school kids would continue to be evaluated on English and math test scores, and high schools on graduation rates, but would hold schools accountable for other courses. Now, lowering performing schools with a graduation rate of 67% or less would be identified for comprehensive support and improvement. Those schools would also get additional funding. Well, in other news, students across New York City will now be eligible to receive free school lunch regardless of their parents' income. This comes according to school's Chancellor Carmen Farina. Well, last year, 75% of students were qualified to receive free lunch, but some students failed to return the paperwork, while others chose not to eat rather than acknowledging their family's income. Now, an additional 2,000 students will eat for free. Breakfast is already free for 1.1 million public school kids in the city. And several other schools in the United States, including Boston, Detroit, have already offered free lunch for all students. Well, Americans came together to pay respect and honor those who passed away on 9/11. Family members, survivors, and rescuers all took turns reading the names of victims at the World Trade Center Monday morning. Nearly 3,000 people were killed when planes hijacked by terrorists hit the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. President Trump spoke at the Pentagon, while Vice President Pence addressed an observance at the Flight 93 Memorial in Shanksville. Now, while addressing Americans, the president also addressed the enemies, stating, quote, "America cannot be intimidated, and those who try will join a long list of vanquished enemies that dare test our mettle." It's been 16 years since the attack, and it will never be forgotten. Well, Florida took a major hit from Hurricane Irma, leaving almost 5 million homes that still remain without power. 2 days after Irma made landfall on the Florida Keys, 35% of the houses have been destroyed, another 65% suffering major damage. This according to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, also known as FEMA. 9 other states also dealt with power outages while they had to deal with major flooding. According to officials, the death toll for Irma currently rises to 22 people. Well, we're taking a quick break, but stay with us because we've got more open coming up right after this.